Are you an education major looking for some tips on how to be a more engaging teacher? Are you wanting to make learning fun? In this video, I share some of my creations and tips to find success in those things. Some creative challenges that I've faced both academically and professionally within this course, but also throughout the semester in other ways, are the desire to create perfect products. I struggle to abandon work, and I spend many hours perfecting little details that often aren't noticeable to others. If I were to spend less time perfecting minor details, I think I would be more productive overall. I think a lot of educators face this struggle as a lot of people want to perfect those anchor charts or have the perfect lesson or that perfect children's book for their students. And we spend so many hours doing these small little things that we could do in other ways just to be more efficient overall. And so you can see on this slide some things that I have created. The one on the left that says Science Notebook was a template that I was attempting to create for some students in my methods courses this semester. And I was struggling to print front and back without it flipping, if you know what I mean. And so that was something that I had to be selective in what I was choosing to perfect at that time. And I instead just printed the back of each paper blank, and my students just had blank pages throughout their notebook that they could draw diagrams in, and it ended up working out, but that was something that I spent a lot of hours trying to perfect, and I eventually had to come to terms that it's okay that it wouldn't be perfect. The thing on the right is a poster that I made. The picture is actually not the complete poster, as you can tell, but that was something that I again struggled to. I just wanted to make it so perfect. And so like the ornaments, right, I had this perfect circle maker or tracer. And I outlined everything in pencil first before going over it in Sharpie. And this was such a minor thing, but that was something that I just couldn't seem to not make perfect. So my tip for you is to be selective in what you choose to perfect. If it's for your students and it will benefit them in a drastic way, then spend that extra time doing it. But if you're perfecting minor details that, like the science notebook, right, that those blank pages were okay. They were beneficial for my students in a different way than I had initially planned. So moving forward, something that didn't work for me this semester was related to rituals and creating a time and space to create. I wanted to spend more time dedicated to creating in the morning, but I much prefer creating and working at night. And so I think that's something that to keep in mind, that we all can face different struggles in different ways, and creating that time and space for what works for you is important and can just be something to figure out. Something that did work for me was stealing from the best and realizing that I don't have to create everything myself, that I can take things that other people have done and make them better. And so on this slide, you can see on the left, this was a lesson plan that I did with some students in my methods courses for social studies. And I pulled out different primary sources that another teacher had used and a children's literature that I had that was high quality. And I made those into centers, and that was a really great lesson. But I decided, instead of coming up with everything from scratch, I just pulled from what others have done, and I made them work for my students in a format that would work for us. On the right, you can see this life-size Monopoly game that I created for a leadership camp, but would also work in a classroom. And again, right, that I needed this game, I needed it to be life-size, but the concept of Monopoly is pretty well known and something that I didn't create from scratch, right? I kept the jail, as you can see, and the different colored spaces. But I just made, again, that game work for my needs and my students. Abandoning work was something that I have struggled with, again, often. And I just feel this overwhelming desire to finish things that I start. But I have come to realize that if something isn't bringing me joy anymore, then moving on to something else can really help me be more productive and spark more creativity. So my tip for you is, if it doesn't bring you joy, abandon it. And my second tip is to save your abandoned work for later. Right above my tips box here, you can see two books that I have started but decided to abandon. They were not bringing me joy at the time when I was reading them, but one way that I have saved them is in my Goodreads app. And I saved the page that I left off on, and if I choose to go back to those books, I know where I left off. On the left of the slide, you can see the some lesson plans that I've started to create, but ultimately decided to abandon because they weren't bringing me joy. I often create in Google Slides or Google Docs, so my work is saved for later if I do choose to go back to it. I don't feel that I face any emotional challenges this semester, but I've come to love keeping a waste book. So much of an education is about engagement, and I think bringing in fun and engaging things are really game changers for learning. And the waste book has helped me so much this semester to keep all of my ideas written down and being able to remember a lot of the fun ideas that I have. In my waste book, I most often write about things that I want to create that may benefit my students. So here you can see some of the pages of my waste book. The two on the left are only two of my to create lists. A lot of these things I have created or started, but I have loved keeping this list because if I don't have time to start whatever idea I have in that moment, I write it down and I can always come back to it later and remember that. On the right, you can just see some notes about teaching that I wanted to save from either my courses or reading that I've done. So my tips are to keep a waste book. It can help you be more creative. It can help you better meet the needs of your students. And it can help you make a more engaging and creative learning environment.